This is the Answer Your Unique Calling podcast. This podcast provides tips, tools, and inspiring stories for creating clarity around your calling, opening your heart to infinite possibilities, and enabling you to have the greatest impact on the world. I'm Crosson-Hill, a certified spiritual life coach, meditation teacher, human design specialist, and founder of Priest of Inanna. And most recently, I've joined the faculty at Starseed Academy Coach Training. It's my mission to teach and guide others in living a spiritually aligned life that answers their unique calling. Welcome, and thanks for listening. Hello, I'm your host, Julian Crosson-Hill, and today on Answer Your Unique Calling, I'm going to talk about the subject of growth. So it actually wasn't the topic I was originally going to talk about today, but I just got this really strong urge from my guides to talk about this subject. So let's talk about growth. And there's a couple of things that I really want to talk about growth. And one of them is the difference between growth and experience. So there's sort of this joke that used to go around about, having years of experience and this idea that having seen it all before and having experienced it somehow led us to wisdom. And while experience certainly can bring wisdom, it doesn't always. And it doesn't, just because you have a lot of experience doing something doesn't mean that you're growing through that process. And so I think the first thing I want to sort of really make clear about this idea of growth is that growth is a choice. We choose in the moment every day when we experience something that we don't desire to experience. So whenever we are having an experience that is challenging or sad or difficult, something that perhaps we didn't want to receive, or even when we're having an experience that's disappointing, the thing that we were trying to manifest or the experience that we really desired to have doesn't happen. In those moments, we have a choice whether we're simply going to experience that thing and view ourselves as a helpless victim of our circumstances, or we can ask ourselves, what is this experience teaching me? And in that moment, we can experience growth. So we can disconnect ourselves from our creatorship and refuse to take accountability or responsibility for our situation, or we can stay connected to our creatorship and take responsibility for our lives. We can look at the experiences that we're having and ask ourselves some questions about how is it that we are experiencing these things? What are we creating through our various actions, thoughts, beliefs, and grow from that. We can make a decision that we want to experience something different, and that's called growth. Let me give you an example. I can be a little sensitive, and I've kind of hidden it over the years for various reasons, something that I've actually been working on. And so I can take other people's bad moods the wrong way often. At one point, it was someone being in a bad mood or not reacting in a positive way to me would ruin my day. I would brood on it. I would question, what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? Why are people treating me this way? And really be a victim over someone being in a bad mood and perhaps being sharp or sarcastic or rude to me. One day I just sort of said, I sort of realized that happiness is a choice. I can decide to allow someone else's bad mood to ruin how I feel about the day, or I can choose not to take that in, right? I can choose to stay in a good mood. I can choose to be happy. And I can really look at that situation as, what is it about the other person? What is it like? The other person's bad mood is about them. It's not necessarily about me. It's not about you. It's not about anyone. And so that is an example of growth. And we have these moments throughout our lives in which we have that opportunity to grow. So in some ways, growth is very similar to awakening. And awakening is a term that gets batted around a lot lately, both for good and bad. And so growth is definitely, I feel that when we grow personally, and A lot of people look at growth from a psychological model because we are intelligent and sentient beings who are capable of growing and learning. But I also like to look at growth from a soul level and from a spiritual level because I think that that's really part of the process. Like, yes, we've got to look at the whole being, mind, body, and soul. And mentally, yes, we learn and we grow, and we can grow mentally, we can grow emotionally, but we can also grow spiritually. And I think that often the moments that give us the most growth are when we reflect on an experience and we take away a lesson that touches us on all levels so that we grow not just mentally, but also spiritually. And those are the most powerful experiences or episodes of growth, which starts to sound a lot like awakening. And there is a lot of overlap there because regardless of what social media says about just suddenly one day you got out of bed and awoke and you were in this process of awakening and you didn't do anything or make any choices about that, awakening is also a choice. When we decide to see life as something larger than ourselves or our physical reality, that's awakening. And awakening is something that we choose to do. And it requires a lot of growth. It requires a lot of examining what we've been doing in our life and what everything in our life is about. We're really getting into the meaning of things. Why do we have this obsession with wealth? Why do we do the things that we do? Why are we in the relationships we're in? Like, it really, when we start to awaken to a more expansive spiritual reality or spiritual model of the world, there's almost a decomposition that we go through where we start to decompose our life and really look at it through a different lens. This isn't always an easy or a pleasant process. And I want to make that clear because I see all these memes about, you see angel numbers on the clock, it means you're awakening. Listen, you don't need to see angel numbers on the clock to know that you're awakening. If you chose to awake and you're going through the process of awakening, you're going to know it because awakening is messy business, okay? It is not always easy and it is not always pleasant because coming from a spiritual perspective in life can be very challenging. It's not the standard way of operating in our world, and people make judgments. They're going to look at you differently. There's a lot of things, and this is a lot of the reason that people who have a powerful spiritual calling and have really a great number of spiritual gifts never step into that calling and do that because they're afraid of the judgment of other people, and it holds them captive in a world that is shallow and does not move onto the spiritual level at all. So awakening is messy business. It's not just all light and rainbows and seeing angel numbers on clocks. So let's go back to growth for a minute, though, because I've already said growth is a choice. Not all experiences lead to growth. And I think the other aspect of growth is that growth takes a deeper awareness. Okay, that's kind of interesting. A deeper awareness. A deeper awareness of what? You're probably thinking. Well, a deeper awareness of yourself, first of all. You can't really grow from an experience without having an awareness of the ways in which your own thoughts, beliefs, and actions impact that experience that you're having. You have to have a level of self-awareness in order to grow. And so if you feel like you're stagnating or you're stuck in a rut and you haven't had a growth spurt in your life, then it's time to start doing some self-discovery, start digging in and really exploring yourself, really digging in and through journaling or tarot or other archetypes, really getting in there and examining what is it about me that I am creating these situations. What is it about me that causes me to be triggered by another person's bad mood, for instance? So we have to have that self-awareness before we can move forward and grow. And so that's a process, and that's why growth always moves in these spurts. We gain a level of self-awareness, and with that new awareness that new level of self-awareness, we move forward to a new level of growth. And then we have to repeat the cycle. We have to go back and gain a deeper level of self-awareness. And then that allows us to go through another cycle of deeper and larger growth. And so this growth process is always going to be a cycle. Now, one of the things I want to sort of briefly touch on, and Roz and I were talking about this in recording our content for our program, Abundantly Being, and this is some energetic aspects of growth that I want to share with you that I got through working with the Akashic Records, working with the masters and teachers and loved ones in my Akashic Records. There's a lot of talk in spiritual circles about vibration and about high vibration and low vibration, and what's the vibration that you're holding. And I want to hold a high vibration, and I think that this gets wrapped up in this idea of growth. That if you're growing and moving forward, you're raising your vibration, right? So here's what I got from the Akashic Records that I want you to think about. If you think about music, a vibration is a single note. So a high vibration is a high note, low vibration is a low note. It's a bass note. And how boring would music be if everybody was just running around playing high notes? And so we need to give up this idea of vibration for a couple of reasons. One, I think it hampers our growth because we start to bring judgment into it. We start to judge things as high vibration or low vibration. And of course, one of the places a lot of people start is their own emotions. So they start repressing emotions that are judged to be low vibration. And that has a lot of problems. You can go back to past episode where I talked about why suppressing your emotions actually hampers your manifestation. So that's the first problem. It brings in judgment, human judgment, as soon as we start categorizing things as high vibration, low vibration. But the other is energy moves in waves. We know this from quantum physics. We know this from energetic dynamics. I've learned this from working with the Akashic Records as well. And energy moves in waves, which means that there's naturally highs and lows because that's what a wave is. Our emotions run in a wave. Human design teaches us that our solar plexus center creates an emotional wave. So we're not designed at a core level. The universe is not designed, energy does not operate at a single vibration. It runs in waves. So what the masters and teachers and loved ones of the Akashic Records told me about this particular topic is your soul is vibrating in an energetic wave. And you can liken this to a song. So your soul is singing this song that's comprised of both high and low vibrations. And your goal through your growth, your goal in life as you're growing and you're learning and you're doing your work to move forward is for the person that you're being, the energy of your being will have its own song. And your goal as you grow is for you, the song of your being to resonate with the song of your soul. And resonance is a frequency concept. Two frequencies that resonate will sort of add to the energy of each other. And when two songs are dissonant, when they don't resonate, they'll actually dampen each other's energy. We also in music call this harmony. So the goal of our growth is for the song of the energy of our being, which is kind of a complex topic, needs to harmonize with the song that our soul is singing. And that is what we are trying to do through growth. Not be in a high vibration or a low vibration, but to sing a harmonious song through the energy of who we're being. So I hope that these thoughts on growth have sparked you or inspired you to start to think more about this process of awakening, about the idea of vibration and frequency and energy. And I hope that if nothing else, if you are in a stagnant phase where you don't feel like you're growing, that this has maybe encouraged you to start to dig in and create some more self-awareness and remember always, the power is yours. You just have to choose to grow. Bright blessings. This has been the Answer Your Unique Calling podcast with your host, Julian Crosson-Hill, produced by Priest of Inanna, LLC. You can find us on priestofinanna.com. That's Priest of Inanna, INANNA.com, or on Instagram at Priest of Inanna.